Finish on the boat, right? So fingers crossed, hope it's nice. Yeah.
Also, my wood is my. Is Chris have a mic?
Yeah, it's good. And then, yes, we're not muted.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, everyone. So we'll get started. So like Darcy mentioned, my name is Chris Gahane. I'm the Nutrition Operations Manager for Choices. So I've been with Choices for about a year and a half. And I'll kind of go over the sort of plan for today. But first and foremost, I do want to do a land acknowledgement. I'm very grateful and privileged to be joining everyone from traditional, ancestral, and ceded lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. As someone with Indigenous family, I'm always reflecting where we're coming from. I'm very grateful to be here on the coast. We have such an incredible abundance of fresh seafood and fish, wonderful root vegetables and berries and whatnot. So we really are lucky. And I encourage everyone to reflect on where they're coming from. So a little bit about me. So like I alluded to, a nutrition operations manager. I went to UBC for around 7 years to study dietetics. And I spent some time during that practicum rotation in GI surgery at BGH, to health, the Healthy Heart Clinic at St. Paul's. Spent time in some other locations too. But my passion has always been public health. So for me, growing up, my mom is Japanese. I grew up in Japan, moving to Canada when I was 7. And I love my mom. She's definitely my hero. Growing up, we didn't always have enough money for groceries. So when I was a teenager, I really wanted to really go into nutrition. So that's definitely my end goal, to kind of go into public policy one day. But I had the chance to join Choices a few years ago and I jumped at it because we do so many wonderful programs in the community. When I joined Choices, we're at 0 community programs since COVID, and I'm proud to say we're up to around 45 now. That we offer in the past years. So we work with
Chris.
Yeah, lots of different populations across our 11 locations. We work with at-risk populations, kids, seniors, new parents, just about anybody when it comes to nutrition or cooking classes, cooking seminars, things like that. So we offer different programs and things, and certainly talk to Ann. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Darcy.
Yeah.
Claudia is our nutritionist for Kitsilano. And also Yaletown, and she's kind of helping today. And anyone joining live stream, there'll definitely be some time to answer questions and things throughout. But yeah, we're very, very lucky and very, very excited to welcome Chef Trevor Randle, and Natalie Darwin from BC Ag. So maybe I'll pass it on.
Perfect. Yeah. All right, welcome. I can introduce you to Natalie. Natalie, kind of the person that makes all this amazing stuff happen on my end. So I don't know if you want to talk now or
yeah, sure. So BC Ag, I'm not sure if you're familiar with us. We are the regulatory body that manages the production of eggs in BC. So anything that is not yet graded. So we are talking about their producers, so what we call it farmers. And the transportation and distribution to our grading stations. So we are happy to support the education of eggs of our farmers, but also to bring practical cooking tips and tricks and recipes to the people of BC, and to celebrate local food.
Thank you. Yes.
Question for you.
Yes.
Could you clarify organic, free range eggs versus these are vegetarian feed? I thought chickens only ate vegetarian food.
You are my favorite person today. You're asking the perfect questions. Okay, so when you go to the grocery store and you see regular eggs, which are the most economical eggs, those ones are raised in enriched housing or conventional housing. Keep in mind that conventional housing is a little bit more smaller. Enriched is now the gold standard for housing for housed hens. However, conventional housing is being phased out by 2030, and so those horror stories you hear about, like factory farming, that doesn't happen in BC. That's very much a US thing. And then so when we go into free range eggs, free run eggs. Free run eggs are basically, if you look at a barn, it's all open on the inside. There's perches and roosts and things like that, and then there's laying nest boxes, and it's completely open, but they don't go outside. And then free range is when it's the same as the free run barn, but there's also a yard that they have access to. And then when you think about organic, think about it as free range plus. So the birds have more allocated space per bird in organic, and then they're fed organic feed from birth, basically. And so the moment that an organic bird is given non-organic food, it's no longer organic. And all of these things, it has nothing to do with the type of bird it is. It has everything to do with how they're raised and in what housing units they're raised. And it's my job and it's kind of like the thing that I'm really trying to do is try to bring those bits of education to the public, to consumers, so that you understand the choices that you make when you're in the grocery store. But I want you to know that every choice that you do make is a good choice. Happy hens lay eggs, and it's just not a thing where we have hens that are unhappy. All of our farms, the whole 165 farms, are family-owned farms. If you think about the largest farms in the US, some can have 1 million birds in one farm, or in one farm. In all of BC, there's 4.3 million birds in all of BC. And so you can be rest assured that the eggs that you buy are raised in family-owned farms.
Just as long as it says Canada, we're okay. Really.
Yeah.
You have experts that could look at an egg and tell whether or not what category it fell into, just by looking at the egg, or
No, and nutritionally, they're the same as well, with the exception of omega eggs, which are fed like super enriched feed,
Right.
which will then produce an egg that is enriched in omegas. Yes.
Is there a big difference between organic versus non-organic? Is one taste better than
No.
the other?
No,
No
they can,
difference?
well, the only difference is that their feed is organic feed. So though that feed is not treated with pesticides and herbicides. But nutritionally, they're the same birds. They are the same birds.
what kind of
Honestly, I eat regular eggs. I make that choice because it's the right one for my family. I have 2 young kids. I'm the only working parent. And so I need to make a choice that's right for me. And sometimes that choice is the economical one.
That's interesting. So it doesn't scare you though, that's.
No, absolutely not. And all eggs in BC are all commercial eggs are raised at the highest standard. Every barn is audited by us. They are all tested for salmonella. And if there are any pathogens that are a danger to the birds, then we make sure that it's contained. And that is the role of BC Egg. We make sure that the BC has access to quality eggs where their hens are being treated well, and that the farms are upholding Canadian standards.
And there's some amazing information on the BCA website, bcegg.com. Really full, great information, Natalie. So people can look up there. And if you have any questions in our store, you can always consult with me as well.
And I'll be around. I'm happy to answer any questions. There are no questions that scare me. I have a lot of trust in our farmers, and I have a lot of trust in our products.
Thank you.
So I was just. So that's a lot, right? We don't get this all the time, right? So these are great questions, and that's what you need to know. I think it's a great question of the days different. I would challenge anybody who's behind where's the other to try that side by side and pick out.
Is it? It's crazy.
Wait, guys, should we go?
Yeah.
So thank you for having me. This is really exciting. I love being from a group, and so my name's Trevor Randle. I'm the chef ambassador for BCA. Great, proud to be the chef ambassador for BCA. There's lots of chefs out there, but they choose me to do this kind of fun stuff. So I'm very, very privileged to be here in front of you. I also am the chef instructor at Maple Ridge Secondary School, so that's where I teach culinary arts to high school students who are going on to be young chefs, right? So we have home ec across the hallway. They do the domestic, like we all know, and then my classroom is a full commercial kitchen. We basically make the hundreds of meals every day for our school lunches, and we sell dinner. So that was possible, right? Just get kids eating healthy, nutritious food, and more we're budgeted to actually give a lot of food away, right? So we're really focusing on providing healthy, local, cooked from scratch food. So we don't buy mayo, we don't buy salad dressing. We make everything in house, and this is what students learn. Kind of where real food comes from, right? So we make a chicken stock, right? You know, kids are like, that's I don't know. That doesn't taste right. Well, no, this is what it tastes like. It's not that fluorescent yellow stuff you get from the powder, right? So we're just one step at a time changing things up, right? And so last little bit, I've been really happy to work with Natalie and create some excellent egg recipes, which we're going to do today. So as we're going through, feel free shout any questions, and we'll just get going. Then we'll give you guys some samples. Yeah. So today we're gonna do the theme today is high protein, right? So we wanted that was the ask, and so we want to do a recipe. Actually, we filmed the video for this, so it's on the BCA website. So I'm not going to worry too much about amounts. Here we're just gonna get through it. You can go back to the website, check out the recipe, and then cook it should you choose to give it a go. Okay, so we're gonna make this cloud bread. So it's kind of an alternate to just a bread, and we're gonna keep it vegetarian. So we're gonna make a roasted beef hummus, and we have a whole bunch of roasted veggies as well. So let's get to it. So we'll start with the cloud bread. We'll start with, of course, our eggs. So I want to separate them. So when we're gonna whip up the whites, like you're making a meringue. So anytime you are gonna make meringue, of course, everything needs to be completely clean and fat free, right? So the smallest little drop of yolk, the little smallest drop of oil on your hands or in your bowl or on your whisk will make the egg whites not whipped. Have you ever tried to make a lemon meringue pie or something, and that
Yeah.
right, white doesn't even whip up? It's probably because that there's some trace amount of fat in your bowl or even on your hands, right? If that yolk breaks, you're gonna have a problem as well, right? So that's why I like to crack them one at a time, especially in our school. When we're cooking, we never do something for 4 eggs. We're always doing, we make cookies, you need 30 eggs to make our chocolate chip cookies, right? So we're always doing big batch cooking. So we're making, say, a breakfast wrap, where we'll probably have these kids crack like 300 eggs. But anyway, if we do need to separate them, we even just crack it, it's always into a bowl, inspect them, and then we separate them from there. Right. So now and of course, this recipe is great because nothing goes, has to be put away. We're going to use the whole egg in this one. If you're using a recipe with just egg yolks or just egg whites, obviously we never throw things away. No. Egg yolks, you can make great mayo. Egg whites, you can make meringues, you can make egg white omelets, whatever we have, right? So yeah, in the kitchen, nothing goes to waste, right? Right. So there we've got our things separated. And we'll start whipping. So we're going to start, before I go on to anything else, we're going to get these egg whites whipped. So bear with me. We'll be a minute. So we'll get them kind of broken up. All right.
Let's get cracking, Chef Randle.
That's it. Yeah. There you go. All right. And to this, we're going to add a little bit of cream of tartar.
What, sorry? Salt?
A little bit of cream of tartar. So cream of tartar is that white powder. You probably bought one when you made a meringue, and it lasts forever. You just need barely any. So what's cream of tartar? Cream of tartar is actually a byproduct from the wine making process. So once the wine is all finished, it comes out. There's a residue around the pot. They think that it's an acid, right? So what we do with a little cream of tartar in the egg white, it makes your egg whites more stable. So we're going to form this into dip peas. All right, so bear with me. I thought, no, let's talk about egg. It was a great idea like an hour ago to do it in front of you.
But did you also just use a mixer?
Sorry, we'll get there. This won't take long.
But I'm trying to help you.
Feel free, any egg questions? Now's the time to pick Natalie's brain. We got the professional here.
You absolutely can use a whisk or you can use a.
Okay. Oh, 100%. Sorry, yes, for sure.
That's a good workout.
He just flexing.
I know, but now pressure on, I can't stop, right? And of course, anybody at home who's watching, feel free to type your questions in the chat, and I'm happy to answer. All right. Remember the first restaurant I worked in was a German restaurant? And it was my job as a young apprentice to get in and make the holiday sauce. Is the mirror okay, by the way? All right. So it's my job to make the holiday sauce. So as soon as I got on my shift, the chef would he'd come up and he'd hand me about 80 egg yolks. I would start whipping them, and then he would come around and he would start pouring in like 6, 8, 10 pounds of butter. And if you've ever made holiday sauce, you need to whisk, or it breaks. And with that, me and German man standing over me, I did not want to break the sauce. All right. So that was the motivation. I remember I was just out of high school at the time. I remember eventually I couldn't even do it. Getting through, I couldn't even fix it. And then 3, 4, 5 months in, no problem. But the problem was I was like one really big arm. And I was like, I was also in charge of pounding the schnitzel. So an hour and two. All right. So already we're almost there, right? So a nice French whip. We're not quite there. It's a little bit running. Almost there. So this is key. So what the egg white's gonna do here? It's gonna bring some structure, right? That's gonna replace our flour, right? Give our little bread some structure, but also we're reducing all that air. We're gonna be really light, not heavy, right? Come along, they were volume comes up. Great. Here we go. Yeah, one more minute. We'll figure it together. All right, and as I always tell my students, how do you know when your meringue is done?
Turn the bowl upside.
Right? You can put it over your friend's head and it doesn't fall out. I do that, and one of these things, I swear it's gonna fall out. I'm not gonna fall, right? But yeah, you're going for those peaks, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Peaks are good.
That's it. All right, that looks pretty good.
All right, and very nice.
We got the towel. All right. So over to our egg yolks. To this, we're gonna add some more protein in here, okay? That's especially it's very popular now. Everybody's asking how to get more protein into my diet, right? So we're gonna season it up. I've got some salt, a little pepper, and I've got some local yogurt here. I get that right inside. Okay, again, that's got a nice creaminess, but give us that extra protein boost. Right. And now I'm not worried. I can use the same whisk over here, right? Because I'm not going to make the if in fact it's in my white now, it doesn't matter. They're all whipped up, right? So we'll just quickly mix those up. Right, get we're running it. And from here, what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of our egg whites, but maybe about a third, into our egg yolk mixture. And we're not going to worry too much about keeping that air yet. We're just going to kind of thicken our mixture up a little bit here. All right. And then what we're going to do is add this back into there. And then we use that folding method we all learned about, right? All right. So it goes right in the center. All right. Like so. All right. So from here, now we'll do that folding method, right? We kind of go down the center and fold. Center and fold. Right, and we'll have our little batter here. And this one I start to get, especially when we make a big batch, this is when my brain starts to get a little impatient. I want to start mixing so hard. But again, we just worked real hard to make those get that air in there. So we want to keep as much of that volume as possible, right? So we're just cutting through and just all combine. All right. Scraping the side. There we go. And that's it. That's all we have to our cloud bread. All right. So from here, we're going to decide how big we want our bread. Right. Okay. So I just brought simple ramekin. You can make these as big or as little as you want, you know. If you do about 4.5 inches, that'll do the same size like a standard hamburger bun, right? But I just got these little ramekins here. So we also want to make them all the same size because they're going to be kind of like a sandwich, right? And so you can draw circles on there and turn it upside down. So you know, getting pen or pencil on your eggs, and you'll still see the marks through the parchment paper. And again, parchment paper, right? Not wax paper. And I made that mistake and throw wax paper in the oven, right? Ooh, right. All right. Or a little hack thing to do: just dip your ramekin in your batter and make a little circle. Even when you're making preferred rolls or eclairs, you have your little stencil. And there's our stencil, right?
Yeah.
Really simple. So from here, we're gonna take a nice scoop. Put it right in the center. And this recipe will make 4 like 4-inch sandwiches. All right, so it makes quite a lot. Get it on there. You see how nice and aerated it is.
Yeah.
All right, so just to show you, we'll do something like this. All right. So from here, I've got a little offset spatula, and I'm just gonna kind of spread it on using my template that we made, right? So I'm gonna spread it around, just to make like a little bun shape.
Right.
All right, just like so. Just to the edge. Fantastic. Just like that, right? And now they're pretty much all the same. And then because I like them, on half of them, I'm gonna put some sesame seeds on top to make it look like that top half of the bun, right? So we just put your sesame seeds right on top, as little or as large as you like, or don't put them on, right? There's no rule here. It's up to you, whatever you like.
Could you use something like pumpkin seeds on top?
Sure, absolutely. It's kind of like bread making, right? Whatever you want to put on top, you just go for it, right? So we're gonna put this in a pretty. Sorry. I'll put this in a pretty low oven because we do need to kind of dry these out a little bit. All right. So you're about in about a 300-degree oven, probably 20 or 30 minutes. Okay. And they're nice and brown. All right. I'll let them do their thing there. Okay. So while this is cooking, we'll get the rest of our ingredients all ready to go. So really, it's just all for me. It's all about what's seasonal, right? What's local, what's fresh. So our tomatoes are doing well. Our greenhouse vegetables, of course. Our peppers, our tomato, our eggplant. I got some green zucchini, but I didn't. If you have yellow zucchini when the time comes, I've used that for sure. Sky's the limit, right? But we're just going to roast the vegetables. Okay, so one way I love to just enhance our vegetables: simple, a little oil, salt, pepper, hot oven, get them nice and roasted, right? So I always say it's no secret. I'll tell you the best chefy tip I can give anybody anytime. Just buy that fresh local ingredient, and then there's not much we have to do to it, right? And again, a little, we'll do roasted this dish, we'll do any kind of roasted vegetable. Kids in school, adults will be, oh my gosh, what did you do that? Well, I just sourced properly, right? You buy an amazing local product, you don't have to do too much to it. If you buy kind of subpar products, then you have to start adding spices and things to make up for great flavor, right? Because the farmers do all the work. The chef just put a little seasoning on it and take the credit, right? So just to roast some veggies, I'll start with our onion, and then a little trick as well. So obviously, you put our cutting board down. You ever find your cutting board's moving around on your table? Just grab yourself a little damp cloth, put it underneath, and that'll stop your cutting board from moving around. Okay. And of course, a nice sharp knife, whatever knife you like to use, is really important. Does anybody have one of these at home? Yeah, what does it do? It trues the knife. All right. So what does that mean? So every single time you're using a knife, it starts to round, and like little slivers we call burrs start to form on that blade, right? So you'll have a really sharp edge, but you have all these little slivers kind of coming off it, right? And the more little burrs or slivers you get, the harder it is to push through, right? And of course, we all know a sharp knife is way safer than a dull knife, right? Because a sharp knife is going to go exactly where you need it to go, and you don't put a lot of pressure. If your knife is starting to dull or it hasn't been trued, meaning going back that nice fine tip, you're pushing really hard. That's when you slip and you get yourself. Okay, so does anybody know how to use one? Yeah. Okay, so simple. So the trick here is 20 degrees, okay? So how do we figure 20 degrees, right? There's 90, about half is 45, about half of that is 20, okay? We're gonna go from the back to the front, and then the same thing on this side. 90, 45, 20. Eventually, you gotta hear that ring? That's your before. That means you've got the right angle. Compared to, listen, like a grind, that means you're on the right angle. Okay, so when you're cooking, you're using all your senses, right? And then you see chefs doing this like 100 times at the end of the buffet. Yes, totally for show, right? Show offs, right? 3, 4, maybe 5 times. That's it. If your knife doesn't get back to being really sharp after that, it means you have to sharpen it. It means your blade is actually starting to round. That's when you have to put it on a stone and actually start to shave the metal down like any saw blade, right? Eventually it starts to round and gets dull. You have to bring it back to a true point. But if you get good at using this every single time you start to cook, your knife will, especially if you have nice knives, your knives will last a long time, be really sharp, right? And of course, never put your nice knives in the dishwasher, right? All right. All right, so let's get to it. We start with our onion, of course. All right, so we'll just quickly cut the ends off. Okay, and then this one, I want to keep them round. So I'm just gonna take the first layer off. And of course, if we're not happy with underneath, we can always take another layer until we're happy. Okay, just keep peeling.
Onions have layers,
Yeah, it's like ogres.
like ogres.
Oh my gosh, I say that joke all the time. Just going now, kids like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
You don't get Shrek, right?
So what do you do? Do you get teary eyes from cutting onions?
Yes, yes. Well, I don't. Usually the students are cutting onions, right? But no. But you know what? The best trick, if you can keep your onions cold, which I mean, not really don't put your onions in the fridge, but also honestly a nice sharp knife, right? Because again, you're cutting through as opposed to just pushing through, right? So you're not going to break up. The less you break up all those little cells, the better, right? So from here, we're gonna make nice slices. Okay. Just into rounds. About half a centimeter. I'm just gonna lay this on. Now, when I make this at home or a big batch, I'm gonna use different trays for different vegetables because obviously the onion's gonna take a lot longer to cook than the zucchini, right? So, but just for today, I'll just kind of show you what they look like. Our zucchini, same. Just gonna cut into rounds. So we're basically making a roasted vegetable sandwich, is what we're doing here, right? So take some nice slices. Let's make the note as well. All right, good. Got our nice hothouse tomatoes. I like to do here, just get that core out, put the knife 45-degree angle, put my thumb on the middle, and then turn the tomato, right? So that way I'm cutting. What we don't want to do is start to turn the knife because if you hit a really soft spot, what's going to happen? You're going to slip and you're going to cut yourself, right? So it's all about fitting that tomato. And then we don't waste too much of the tomato. So many times I see people just take that big slice off to get rid of the core, but so much is wasted, right? These tomatoes, especially these hothouse tomatoes, are so amazing. So just nice thick slice of tomato. All laid out. All right. Our bell pepper. Again, 100 different ways to do the pepper. To get the best, most consistent cuts, I like to just cut the ends off. So, and again, we don't waste these, right? So all I'm going to do, that just goes, right? We're going to use that as well. And what I like to do, we're going to cut down the side, turn them on the side here. And we're basically going to unroll it, right? Use our knife. And then of course we get to that last one, we don't want to cut towards our hands. So we turn around and just take that last little.
Well, little Mr. Smarty.
If y'all get super fancy, you can craft your knife skills and you can take out all that little bits there, but I mean not necessary, right? Again, we'll take that out. Yeah. Do that. All right. Then of course, our eggplant, again, whatever you want to put on, whatever looks good in the market, for me, whatever's local, that's what you're gonna do, right? So our eggplant. I use eggplant a lot. You know, it's really nice. Well, you know what? Try taking, especially nice and roasted like this. I got so many students too saying, you know, we have programs where farmers like BCA are donating so much food to our programs, just so students get their hands on the food. They cook with them, and then of course they serve it to their peers, their classmates, right?
That's the basis for that Greek thing, isn't it?
Wasaka? Yeah, sure, yeah. Oh, yeah, but again, just simply roasted. I have so many kids, whether it's a rutabagas come to, we have 50 pounds of rutabagas, turnips, and people like the kids will like that. But again, we roast it, nothing, oil, salt, pepper, hot oven. All of a sudden, kids are like, what is this, right? And when I get parents coming to parent teacher interviews, they're like, my kid keeps bugging me by rutabaga. I don't know what they're right. So yeah, I think roasting is the best tip. Again, nice local hothouse eggplant, tons of flavor. Hit it with a little bit of oil, salt, pepper. Roasting it brings out the sweetness. It gives a little bit of that caramelization flavor, right? So yeah, give it a try.
So you don't need to put salt on it first to bring out some bitterness or something?
So some do, like especially if I'm doing like a ratatouille or something. I will for sure, like a ratatouille is like a French stew, that vegetable stew. I will for sure, but because we're roasting it, we're gonna almost dry it out anyways, right? So yeah, so sometimes the seeds can be a little bit bitter. So putting some salt on and letting it called macerate, right? Like that salt sucks out all of that water, which can be a little bit bitter, is a good tip as well, right? So we'll just take a couple slices again, trying to stay a little bit consistent with what we got there. Okay.
You don't need to peel it.
No, definitely not. Not at all. Not at all. Just like this, right? So from here, we've just got some olive oil. You don't have to buy for this one. You don't have to use your really expensive stuff. Just some regular olive oil. So oil is going to help transfer the heat and make a nice even heat around, right? So it kind of move it around, get all nice and covered in the oil. Okay. And of course we season, right? So whether you're using a sea salt, a kosher salt, we've got some Himalayan salt here. So what we're not doing is using like the regular table salt, like the iodized salt. You know, I love using like a nice sea salt or kosher salt, depending what I've got. Mostly because the flavor, right? So iodized salt, you know, everybody's tried the iodized salt. You get a little bit that's like super salty, right? All these other more natural ones, for lack of better terms, just aren't as salty, right? So sometimes we see the chefs, especially using like kosher salt, it looks like they're using a lot, but really it is compared to the iodized salt, but it's not as salty, right? Right, so some pepper as well. So I like to hold it really high. And then you'll get a nice even coat, okay? So for this is gonna go in a 400-degree oven, probably 10, 12 minutes, right? Until you get a nice char almost on top of them, okay? And this is a magic oven, by the way. You can cook the 300-degree eggs and the 400-degree.
It's an expensive.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So we'll have to be here at Choices, right? And then of course,
You're having it on.
You could actually take that oven home with you if you want, Chef.
that's okay. And then what you're left with, guys, right, is so I just cut up the peppers so they're nice and soft, a little bit charred. We're left with our onions, our tomatoes.
So you don't have to turn them or anything, you just roast them and leave them.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Just let them happen. Our zucchini and our tomato, right?
Yeah.
So from there, we're gonna make one more element to this, which is our roasted beet hummus. Okay, so again, one of those things, even in schools, you know, kids were like, oh, we have like beets, but we roast them. Hummus is really popular in school. Any kind of dip is really popular. So we start making this even in school, and kids we can't make enough of it now, right? So I'll kind of walk you through that. So of course we'll start with some garlic. And let's give it a little press. Okay. Take a couple of those out. All right, and of course, here, I'll make that so we can see. All right. Of course, how do we get the garlic out of there? We give a little smash, right? You got it on the table.
Yep.
All right.
Gonna smell like.
Okay, wait a minute. All right, so let's peel that off. And just gonna mince it up a little bit because it will go in a food processor and a blender, right? So we don't have to worry too much about how small we mince this up.
Okay.
Right, to make that hummus beautiful. Let's kind of take that little stem off. And if there's any green inside there, we'd like to remove that as well, because if anybody gets a tummy ache from eating the garlic, it's usually that little green bit that upsets, right? So now we smashed our garlic, we'll quickly give it a chop. And again, right? And again, knife skills, right? Knife skills are so important, you know. How you hold the knife is really important, yeah. So every knife is different, every hand is different, right? So if you ever go invest in a nice set of knives, and they're not cheap, right? You should let them. You should be able to try it out. If the store says we can't let you try it, go to another store, right? They should have a cutting board, some ingredients there for you to chop, because it's an investment, right? Some good knives. How you hold the knife is really important. A lot of times when students start, I see a lot of this. Okay, one with this, you have a lot of lateral control, right? So you got kind of two options. We either like to hold the blade, or most knives, I like to kind of pinch the blade there and kind of wrap my hand around like that. For me, that's how I hold most knives. But again, I could go to a totally different knife and that doesn't feel good. I've got one knife, maybe here. It's a global knife, but it's really thin and a little bit sharp, so it actually doesn't feel good. So that one I just happen to hold like this, right? But and then of course we just use this up and down motion, almost like a backwards circle. This is exaggerated, but this is kind of what we're doing, right? And then of course we're always using our guiding hand. So you're always keeping your fingers kind of curled like a C, and I'm guiding the knife on that middle knuckle, right? All right. So that's good enough because again, this is going to go into the blender. All right, let's see if we make this work. And we got our beets. All right, so obviously we didn't want to wait for the magic oven to roast the beets. So again, what I do here, exactly what you saw with the other vegetables, right? I took my beets. I always try to choose beets that are similar in size so they cook at the same time. A little bit of wash them, a little bit of olive oil, some salt and pepper, and I put it in a 350-degree oven, 35 minutes until they're knife tender, right? Until you can easily put in a knife, right?
But the other ones you did at 400, I think.
Yeah. Because they're so much thinner, and I want to get that nice char on them. Whereas these take a long time. I put these at 400, they'd be raw inside and burnt on the outside, right? Beets have a ton of sugar in them, so if you overcook them, they're gonna get really black and almost bitter because you'll burn that sugar inside the beets, right?
And you roast them whole to keep all the juices inside.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll just work and we'll just use our knife and just basically just pulling off the skin. I'm not even really cutting, just kind of dragging it across. And all that skin will come right off. And just like so. Do the other guy here.
It's so great to teach kids how to handle knives properly, isn't it?
Oh, totally, absolutely. You know, again,
Classes, 7-year-olds are making baguette from scratch. You know, our kids can do so much more than just stir the cookie bowl. I missed the boat on that with my kids years ago. I'm like, no, you make dinner. You can do it all.
totally. I know obviously my daughter grew up in a chef home, right? But I mean, she was 2 and it was literally eggs where she started cooking, right? So she loved to, she'd be 2 years old, all ready to go. She loved cooking with dad. We had loved our scrambled eggs, and she loved to go, there we go, and loved us scrambled eggs. And we'd always, she'd love to ask to hatch the eggs and spear them, right? So that was her job, right? And even just giving her a little knife at a young age, right? You know, just kind of getting used to being careful with the knives, right? Again, it's all about learning to be comfortable in the kitchen, right? Even a ton of friends, a ton of adults, you know, they get a recipe, they go to the grocery store with a very, very strict list, right? But if you can kind of be free in the grocery store, right? You can kind of walk up to the aisles and say, "Ooh, that's local. That looks fresh." Even though I was looking for X today, that kind of looks local and fresh. I'm going to change it up today. So again, it's just about being comfortable, which is what we're trying to do in the program, just make people comfortable with cooking, right? So over to our blender. We're gonna add these are just canned chickpeas, which I've opened and rinsed off. Of course, ton of protein in these, right?
Do you take those little skins off your chickpeas when you make your hummus?
No, not from the can. No, I mean, maybe you could, but no, it's gotta blend off.
Some people do if they want extremely smooth.
Yeah,
It's-
Yeah.
That's what I-
And if you really love it and have time to, free them all.
Totally agree on that.
That fiber is longer. If you have that fiber, I'm all in too.
Yeah, you and me both, right? So to this, we have some tahini,
Yeah.
and tahini is basically like sesame seed butter, right? So just like if you turn peanuts into peanut butter, that's our tahini, right? So we'll add that inside.
Could you recommend a good tahini?
A brand?
I can recommend a good.
Yeah, perfect.
That's to you. Literally, I did say that, but that was a great.
Excuse me.
You said I could ask.
It's just a question, right?
Yeah.
I've been to a rough crowd. Hey, we're gonna start feeding you. All right, to this, we'll add our garlic. Side. Of course, our beets, now I just rinsed most of it right off my hands. Again, so it's gonna give that nice, rich flavor, and of course, turn a beautiful, beautiful color, right? All right, so to this, we're gonna add, we have some lemon juice, so, acid, right? Acid is a great flavor enhancer as well, right? So, instead of adding a ton of salt, we use acid as well to kind of enhance those flavors, right? And really what it does is it kind of gets your salivatory glands kind of working and just kind of helps you things taste better, just like salt does, right? So a way to cut down salt is using acid. And kind of again, kind of a chefy tip, if you're ever trying something and it's oof, something's missing, it's probably an acid of some sort, right? Lemon juice, a wine, anything with an acid, right? So we got these lemons, so we're going to use the microplane. We're going to take the zest off. And again, the zest being, the yellow part of the lemon, the orange part of the orange, right? Or the green part of the lime. Just a ton of those essential oils. Just add a nice lemon pop inside there. Right, again, we want to use the whole thing. And you can use a regular grater, right, to get it. The problem is the microplanes work so well because it does just take if shapes it so fine, it just takes that zest off. Right underneath is that white part called the pith, PITH, really bitter, right? So if you are using a regular blend, a regular grater, you just want to be a little bit careful, right? Or quite honestly, you can use a knife, right? You practice those knife skills and really finely shave. That's right. So we got 2 lemons. Worth of zest and juice, we'll just pop right in. And again, if you have a juicer, by all means. But we're just gonna squeeze juice. Take around and around and around. Just all the lemon flavor going. Perfect. All right, then what I like to do to get all that juice out, it's a kind of roll it, break it up a bit. Now it's pretty squishy, right? So from here, we'll just cut it in half. And then instead of using my hands, I like to not a juicer. I like to squeeze through my hands, let my hand be the strainer, for any of those seeds, right? And look, I mean, if you drop a seed in, just fish it out, right? Right. Lots of lemon juice there. We're gonna use both these lemons, right? And then we'll follow up with some olive oil until we get that nice consistency. So then we'll test this bad boy out, see how it does.
I know that's Darcy's. That's so it's like, I like that over the Vitamix because that centerpiece comes out for easier cleaning.
Okay,
The Vitamix has a fixed blade at the bottom. And it works
Right.
really well, but it's not easy to clean.
yeah, and the Vitamix are like $1,200.
Totally.
All right, last one. So lots of lemon juice. Great. Here goes.
Oh, those veggies smell really good. Maybe.
Oh, you again today? Yeah. All right, and we'll add about 1/3 of a cup for starters. Olive oil. And we'll see what happens. Let's do it.
Kind of line up a little arrow there.
Alright, so we can use our spatula. Give it a little stir. And again, you can use the food processor, of course, for this.
Yeah.
Maybe a little immersion blender if you have one already. Get it going. You can see it's a nice color right away, right? That beet starts to color it. Okay, give it a little more zip. Then of course we do need to add always some seasoning. Our salt. And our pepper. I go one more time.
You prefer a certain brand of pepper?
Sorry,
Pepper?
pepper. No. I mean, when I say for school, I just often I just buy the Costco fine ground pepper
Yeah.
for an everyday use. Sometimes I'm doing like a sear meat, I'll buy the coarser stuff, but for the most part, just the fine ground pepper. Yeah. We go. So you try to move, that nice emulsion. All right, well, these, and then what you're left with is a nice beet hummus, right? So we've got our elements all cut in. Right, pretty good, eh? See, chefs are always prepared, right? All right. Let's tidy up a little bit, and then we'll kind of show you how we assemble these.
Can you tell us about mise en place?
Everything in its place, right? So that's kind of what separates like the chef from just like the home cook, right? You got, especially if you're making for people, you need everything ready to go, right? So mise en place, direct translation is like everything in its place, right? So all your veggies, your garnishes, your meats are all chopped, ready to just be cooked and ready to go, right? So yeah, let's put this together right quick, and then I kind of brought a little surprise for you guys as well, right? So so once these are nice and cooked,
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean they're still cooking.
Imagine.
You're gonna turn like this, right? Okay, so this will be the size of ones I made a little ramekin, but you could totally make a 4.5 inch size, make it more like a hamburger bun, right? Okay, so you kind of see where we're going with this, right? All right, so from here, what I like to do is just take some of our hummus. I like to put it right on the bottom half. Just kind of smear it right on there. And these are great served cold. Also really good served warm as well, right? So the if the veggies are a little bit warm, don't be shy with the hummus. All right. And then you're just gonna build. All right, so we'll start with a few of our tomatoes. Right down there. Got a couple of our roasted zucchinis. Right. So our roasted red onion. Of course, some eggplants. Some of those bell peppers, and already, right? It feels like summer, right? Right? And we'll top it off. And there we have our little picnic. Roasted hummus, roasted beef hummus, roasted veggies, and a caramel BCA cloud bread. Right? So there we go, guys. Thank you. So what we'll do, I think, I think we should feed you guys, but I brought dessert too, right? So I thought we had lots of time, which I think we still do, right?
Yes, yeah, that's
Tons of time. Okay, good. So maybe we'll get your stack going here, and then I'll take you through a nice creme brulee to the end. I'll let you do stuff like if you're on. I figured you're gonna be cooking with some eggs, make some classic creme brulee, right?
Interesting.
Sure, yeah, I brought
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, fill out your ballot if you haven't already. Rather than anything, right? Drink your cookie. That's good, so.
With the hummus in a.
You decide.
For speed, I do some class, I put my hummus in a little piping bag.
Sorry, yeah, that is sorry. If you don't want to finish it tonight, we have takeout containers too, if you want to take it home with you for whatever reason, but you might just want to eat it.
Impressed with her company. Something different, like, yeah,
Oh, I remember what's going on. It's really nice. There was, if I take that, it was,
I'm gonna stir you guys, if that's okay.
Yes. Give it a.
Can't put bandages. That's right.
and they were crazy on what I thought. I guess they were my favorites. I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's all right. I love it. Okay, so let's do a little bit of nutrition thing here. So did we eat our egg yolks?
Yes.
Like, are we worried about cholesterol in our eggs? No. And why is that?
Because it takes the egg yolk to get protein out of the way.
Well, that's certainly helpful. We need our egg yolks to help our body synthesize the amino acids and the proteins for sure. But that science is sort of debunked. So what raises cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, is too much saturated fat. But the cholesterol that occurs in egg yolks does not directly translate into a raised LDL cholesterol. So if you ever have cholesterol questions, come and see me, but definitely eat your egg yolks. There's something a little sad about an egg white omelet. It's sadly lonely. So come and see me, but eat your yolks. So I eat eggs almost every day. Roasting, you eat eggs every morning, almost 2 eggs. So you don't really have, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about your eggs. It's one of the most complete foods on this planet after breast milk. Breast milk, we just don't do that anymore. So there you go. Your eggs is great.
Yeah, I have a steam on it. So I put it's in the steam on it. I put it on it.
My favorite.
Absolutely good. Okay, like, just a single bit of radio.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, you do that.
So it's still considered. So Clover does. That's all right.
Well, it's easier for me. I mean, it's easy.
So it's about it's also. So it's.
Right, yeah, man.
It's not the box, it's just one.
All of it.
Yeah.
Guys, if you wanna put your stuff on the ground, I'm gonna hand this to you. Now, I think we can just use our hands, but I do have knives and forks if you're feeling that. It's just hard to do it in your lap.
Yeah.
I say just eat with a gusto.
Friends now.
Yeah, so they. Like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Thank you. Okay, Chef Trevor, any tips when you're putting something in your mouth for the first time? What are we looking for?
I did eat.
Oh, taste wise, you're looking for a nice, it should taste like summer, this one, right? You just taste it, it just tastes like fresh, like summer, it's like summer nights.
Can you make this in advance?
Yes, absolutely, and good question. This is one that you make like the night before and then just assemble it the next day, right? Great for people coming over for just sit on the patio, right? Maybe lay it out, they can kind of build their own, right?
Someone's got to serve it.
Oh, thank you. It is delicious. They actually like the beef. Oh. Oh, halfway down. Too long. Yeah.
So I love this recipe as well because it is low carb. Not that we don't need any low carb, but there is a good. As I mentioned, they certainly have.
That's great. You're not for question. Oh, wow.
Everybody got one?
Yeah.
That's very nice. How about you, Natalie? You have one?
Yeah, sure. I could make that.
It's good.
Very good. Yeah, 'cause I don't know.
I'll trust that it's delicious. Oh, can I eat this one?
Oh, please, yeah.
Very light. Very light, very good.
I didn't know if you get to eat this.
Okay.
You guys, we're also having a big thing on Sunday. You can actually, if you know any young dads, you can sign them into daddy daycare here in the deli, and they can have a pulled pork slider and a non-alcoholic beer. We're gonna have the game on.
Oh, nice.
Dads that wanna come in and do.
Nice. What game is that?
I'm not even sure. Not even sure, but Canada won tonight, 6-0. 6-0. Okay, this looks amazing.
Oh,
Oh, gosh. Oh, yeah, for sure. Anything to do with kale, you can absolutely do beet tops, right? You can deep fry them, you can just like use them like a salad green.
Like, he wants to sit on my salad. Yeah, but because they come out.
Well, you could, I mean, they would for sure if you put them in there long enough, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Oh, gosh, that'd be I mean, it'd be a while, right? So I mean, I would, that'd take a while for sure. Probably, but it has to be a low temperature because you're really dehydrating, right?
It's a while.
A while, gosh, I would say, if you put it like around 300 degrees, probably looking at 45 minutes, an hour,
Oh,
at least for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Chef Pepper, you know what's so great about this? Like it's sweet, it's tangy. We get all the little taste, the little dents in our mouth, right? It's just like a good mixture of the awesome recipe.
Oh, thank you, eh?
really good. How long did you say you were going to deep?
Yeah, so I put them, let's see, they were in a 320, 325 degree oven. I think it took these little guys.
Yeah.
And again, I'm in a commercial oven. It took a good 30 minutes to cook these guys. Yeah.
I've never touched these.
If you want to see him cook them again, we have the video.
Ah.
Yeah, definitely check out BCA. Now these companies a great idea. We make all these incredible videos so well produced. It's pretty awesome, right? So all sorts of recipes on there for different ideas to really get your eggs using. And really what we do is try to just take like common ideas and just kind of zhuzh it up a little bit for lack of a better term, right? So
Looks so good. It was made with that cauli rice.
oh, fantastic.
That looked really good. So also one for shakshuka. Did I say that right?
Okay, yes, that's right. Yeah, there's hundreds of recipes on there from so many chefs, right? So check it out. There's so much.
So the card that I gave you earlier today has a QR code for their website. So you just hold your phone up to it with the camera and then it'll take you to our website.
Or if you're old school like me, you go to the browser, go bca.com.
Yeah. That works too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think by the time he moved to the third spot, yeah. My muscle was like this.
Yeah.
It's right. Something like that.
I said to
Just weekend.
We're not married.
Yo, yeah, perfect, yeah, absolutely. So everything, the veggies, the egg, the cloud bread will freeze nicely for sure. Airtight, 3 months in your freezer for sure. Definitely, for sure. Great question. In the freezer, yeah,
After being roasted.
for sure, definitely. Yeah. And an airtight freezer.
Yeah, we were gonna.
All right, so while we're just chatting, I thought you guys, maybe you like the healthy stuff. Now we'll come in behind with some creme brulee, okay? Because yeah, again, in school, it's one of those like things people love. I love going to a restaurant ordering a good creme brulee. Because for me, it's like it's those simple things. They're kind of the test of a good restaurant, right? For a good creme brulee is like 4 ingredients, right? It's cream, it's vanilla, it's sugar, and of course, it's our incredible eggs, right? And really like anything else, it's just about technique, right? And I love technique, right? So I love when I cook in the recipes, you're never gonna find a recipe with me with like, you never see a plate with like 17 different ingredients and all these things, right? I love just like using our local amazing agriculture, doing it really simply, but with really good technique, right? So what does that mean? It perceived can almost be a simple food, but it's like, ooh, this is really good because you got all those the knife skills, the cooking techniques. The trick with cooking just kind of simple, for lack of better terms, is there's nowhere to hide, right? So if you make a mistake, there's no foam or there's no powder or there's no to hide it, right? So if you don't have the technique, you don't have a great dish, right? So what we're doing here, I'm gonna just scald my whipping cream and then just add some vanilla. If you're, happen to have vanilla bean, this is when you scrape it in there. We just had some vanilla, and of course, treat yourself, buy yourself real vanilla. Try. It's not cheap, but even in liquid form, buy yourself some real vanilla. Stay away from that. Artificial stuff. It's just kind of the pod soaked in alcohol and things, right? So and flavored, right? So anyways, so that's just gonna kind of steep over there. Not looking to boil it, just kind of especially boil it, just so it starts to steam, right? From here, we're going to grab our egg yolks, all right? So this recipe here, again, check it out on the website. I'm gonna use 5 egg yolks, right? So, and this I have 2 cups roughly of cream, okay?
So like an 18% or a 10% or a whipping cream?
Yeah, so up to you. So I like to use like a real whipping cream for the creme brulee.
35%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Can I ask an A question?
Please.
Why is it in Mexico that they don't put it in the fridge?
Yes,
And we
great.
do here.
Great question. Yeah, absolutely. So, North America, and Natalie can correct me if I'm wrong, is one of the only countries, continents rather, that actually keep their eggs in the fridge. Why? Because egg is kind of the perfect food, right? It's laid and it's sealed. Microbes can't get inside unless it's cracked. So what we do, and Natalie will be able to explain the process way better than me, but we wash them, right? We wash them to avoid any kind of salmonella contamination and like this. And once you wash that egg, you take away that protective barrier that's natural, right? So that's why it needs to go in the fridge. And a lot of students and adults actually say, "Oh, I can't eat eggs. I'm allergic to dairy." I still hear that today, right? Because where do you find eggs? In the dairy section. So why is it in the dairy section? Because way back in 19 whenever, when they decided, hey, we're gonna start refrigerating our eggs, where was the refrigeration already? In the dairy section, right? So again, just these little things that people say misconceptions, right? So I realize tell my students and anybody actually these eggs did not come from a cow, right? So you're fine. Right? Now they can touch on that?
What it actually, what it is that there are different processes that, there are different processes that, different continents do to mitigate for salmonella. So in Europe, they generally vaccinate their birds. Whereas in North America, it's actually more economical to wash the eggs. Just because we have more space, we have the infrastructure, we have waiting stations, which will wash the eggs and then distribute them to the retailers. But yeah, that's why, if you have backyard flocks yourself, you probably don't refrigerate those eggs. Also, if you do get eggs that are farm fresh, they are supposed to be washed. But I have noticed that they haven't been. If you do see, like the usual things that you find on farm fresh eggs, if you do refrigerate them, you get them cold, and then you leave them out, you cannot leave them out forever. They have to go back in the fridge because the condensation is enough to break down that barrier as well. So generally, I would say buy your eggs from a local grocery store, and you'd be surprised that the eggs that you get at a grocery store are probably fresher than some of the eggs that you get at a farm stand. The turnover commercially is quite high. It's about a week or less that you get your eggs from farm to the store. And with the farm stand, you don't know how long those eggs have been there. You don't know how long they've been sitting in the back shed, if they've been stored properly. So I would highly recommend that you stick to eggs that you can get at a grocery store, but also if you want to have free range eggs, or if you want a particular, if your hens to be laid in be raised in a certain way, Choices has all of the options, and you can be happy and safe. I feel like all of your eggs are safe.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
The expiry date on a carton. How far can you go past that?
Well, I mean, it's like a best before.
Yeah.
So, what I will say is you'll never eat a bad egg. You'll smell it before you eat a bad egg, or you'll crack it and you'll look at it and you're like, that's not right.
I would love to chime in here very, very briefly. This is near and dear to my heart, best before versus expiry. because we have
That's
a
huge, yeah.
problem of food waste in North America.
Huge.
You find them on infant formula and some meat products, but you do not find them on other products. So the rule is, you look at it, as Natalie's saying, you look at it, you smell it, you taste it. This is what we have census for. So do that. Best before is only a guess. And there's so many, we sell 50% off eggs, 50% off dairy. Don't be afraid to buy those. I have bought them and had them for 2-3 weeks after. I've never had a bad egg. Save a ton of money. If they're in your fridge and the date has come and gone best before, it's totally arbitrary. There's also a tiny hint that perhaps food manufacturers err on the short side, because then you're throwing food out and buying more food. So keep that in mind. And food waste is the lowest hanging fruit to prevent climate change, because food waste accumulates, causes greenhouse gas emissions, methane, which is #1 bad for the environment. So if we care about climate, stop wasting food, don't put it in the landfill. That'd be the best thing we could do.
Great, great, yeah, awesome question. I love it too, because I come to these and I get to learn too. And I mean, I always call myself, that's what I love about cooking, about teaching, you kind of never stop learning, right? So I always say, especially my students, if you want to be a cook, a chef, if you decide you know it all, you might as well quit, right? Because there's always learning, right? So this is amazing. I think, yeah, big, yeah.
Especially there, because you egg yolk colors.
Oh, egg yolk colors. Basically, if your yolk is more orange, the feed mix that they have has more corn in it.
If it's more orange, if they are corn.
Yeah, the hens are fed more corn. If they're more yellow or paler, they just have a little more wheat in the mix.
Oh, it's pretty.
Yeah, totally different, right? Exactly.
So these had a variety of things.
Totally, yeah, that's why I brought them, right? But again, nutritionally, they're gonna do the exact same thing. Like, what the egg yolks in here are gonna give our creme brulee nice, rich texture, that creamy texture, that velvety texture. Also that's what's gonna coagulate and firm up our custard, right? For sure. Yeah, and just a note too on the where to buy your eggs, right? The equivalent to buying the eggs, on that farm stand, you don't know. it's kind of like we always say that chain has been broken of safety. You know, all the food that comes from our grocery stores or whatnot, there's a chain of safety that goes right from the farmer to the end. You know, it'd be the equivalent of buying the salmon from a van on Logie Highway or something, right? You don't know, what's happening, right? So always best to buy quality, right?
Drunk guy on the beach in Mexico.
The shrimp guy on the beach in Mexico, exactly.
Buys
Who knows, right?
Grocery stores have strict temperature control.
Absolutely. They're all these chains are subject to government control, right? And Canada's got one of the best food safety controls anywhere, right? So yeah, definitely a good idea to buy it, right? Anyways, egg yolks in with our sugar. All right. And quickly whisk that together. All right. Our cream.
You have the energy, do you?
I got it. Yeah, no problem. No problem.
That's why they bring in young chef.
Only because you guys are so fun, right? It makes it. All right, so from here, we've got our steep cream. So now we've got a hot cream we're gonna add to our egg yolks, right? So what I like to do whenever I make a custard like this, take your eggs out about half an hour before, let them warm up a little bit, right? Going from real cold to real hot is risky business, right? So from here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna make the egg yolks the same temperature as the cream. What's gonna happen if we add all that cream at once?
Okay.
We're making scrambled eggs, right? So we're gonna call it tempering. All right. So we're gonna just add a little bit, get it whisked in. And also a little trick too, if you're working by yourself, you can grab a cloth.
Keep the little.
Yeah, make your little nest.
Oh.
All right. On top. It's easy. As you keep it. All right, so we'll add a little bit of time to begin with, just to slowly bring the temperature up. Okay. And yeah, we're just making a custard here, right? Okay. Then as it starts to warm up, we can go faster. And there we have our custard. Okay, just that simple, right? So from here, if you're not confident that you didn't cook some eggs, you can totally pass this through a strainer. Make sure you didn't cook anything. And from here, we're gonna fill our ramekins. Okay. So this here, if I were to put this in an ice cream machine, we'd have French vanilla ice cream, right? Same idea, same idea. If I change this recipe and use milk, we would make a creme anglaise, right? So a vanilla sauce, right?
Right.
Me too, yeah. All right, so now the trick to a nice custard is we want to cook it real gently, right? So I'm gonna bring this to an oven, again, about 350. While it's in the oven, I'm gonna pour some boiling water in there, some hot water.
Yes.
Okay. Until it's about halfway up the ramekin, I'm gonna put a cover on top and it's just gonna steam real gently, right? You're probably looking at about 25 minutes, maybe even 30, depending on 35 on your oven. How do you tell when you kind of give it a jiggle? There's a difference, but it's gonna look like Jello. It's gonna move still. You don't want it firm, right? It's not gonna be liquidy. It's gonna have a little bit of a jiggle. That's what you want, okay? And so it goes inside. And when it comes out.
It's got a lot of magic on it.
And it changed containers, right? So it cools down and it firms up, gets nice and set. All right. So there you have your basic custard, right? So same recipe if you want to make a creme caramel for this, right? Difference is there, you caramelize your sugar, put the sugar caramel on the bottom, put the custard on top, cook it the exact same way, and then you invert it. And you have that creme caramel, the sugar on top of that nice sauce. Creme brulee, of course, we put the sugar on top, we do that nice crack, right? So this is the fun part, hopefully. All right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab our little torch. All right. And again, I can't say enough, you know. And by some of the best kitchen equipment comes from the hardware store. Because it's cheap, and I tell you, if you can weld with it, you can pour in some sugar, right? So it's way cheaper, way stronger, and lasts forever. I have been gifted those little butane burners.
Yeah.
They work and they're cute, but they're not as strong, and mine broke within the first 6 months of owning it, right? It just doesn't click. So
Use all these things that you eat a day then.
me, as many as I get my hand on.
Would you like your students to use those?
All the time. Yeah, for sure. My students usually, they love it, right? For sure. So how do we, has anybody ever bruleed before?
No.
Oh my God, I brought 3 already left. Yeah, and so if maybe after I show you, you're more than welcome. I brought more. You can brulee your own creme brulee if you like. Okay. So I'll show you right quick. We're gonna take some sugar, put it right on top. You're gonna do a nice layer. You don't want to do this too far in advance because the sugar will start to melt, and then you can't caramelize it, right?
Okay, good.
Here we're gonna move it around, and you're gonna start to see the sugar melt. So why do we need a really hot flame? We want to keep the custard nice and cold. We want to just cook the sugar. Hold on.
What's your dish made of?
This is just aluminum.
Oh.
Right, this is just a disposable aluminum. Not really anything except I don't know if that's them or right?
Where's over there?
Alright, so obviously, you know, if you just caramelize some sugar here, it's gonna be smoking hot for about 30 seconds, and then the cold custard, because we just heated up the sugar, the cold custard will just crisp it up, and then you get that delicious crispy layer.
Yeah.
We all love, right? So one more here. And there we have it, guys. And that's our classic member late. So I'm gonna get a whole bunch going. If anybody feels brave enough to come up and give their own, that's right.
How long will the sugar not stay crispy for? Like forever now? Because it's nice and.
You know what? No, because it will start to, if you put this back in the fridge, it will start to, just the moisture in the air will start. I mean, you probably have 30 minutes to keep hanging on. You're okay, but you don't want to put in the fridge after that, right? This is kind of a brulee it and serve it type thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So in school, we make this often for different functions we do for the school. Just because everybody loves it, and it's simple, right? It's just for simple ingredients, and the kids will just have fun. They line up because they love it. Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, we're not sure about the sensitivity of our sprinkler system, so this could be fun. I was just thinking, I'm just gonna stand over there. It's been a great night.
Yeah, this is gonna be like the best idea of the night or the worst, right? So,
Yeah, just put the thing out at a time. Let's just play it safe. Just
totally.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, boy.
But I really think you should have made the caramel once already for us.
Oh, they can't come out, but this is way more of a show.
Let's do it.
Remember, I told you chefs are kind of show offs, right? You know what? The meringues, right? Running meringues. Quickly heating things up. You know, you're gonna have to have some beef or something. You're gonna a little bit of flame to make sure it's nice and hot before the game.
I mean, it worked.
Yeah.
It just, it takes a longer time. It just goes so fast.
That's it, right? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Never mind. So they spelled that upper part that like hardware kind of store.
So these ones be ready, guys. If someone wants to start counting out.
Likely, but the upper part.
I don't know if we're serving.
Yeah.
Just my friends.
I can.
All right, sure. Sure.
Are you?
Yeah, guys, for sure. Yeah, do you want to grab this?
They can eat already or it's really hot?
It was just a quick second. Okay.
I know you get the. Where do you buy the top part of this?
Oh, that's Canadian Tire.
And it's just made for these, that's what it is,
No, you know, it's made for welding.
but it fits on.
But absolutely, yep. And it fits on these camping ones. Yep, really simple.
Or yes. Randle. There you go. Thank you.
I'll get those green.
Hey, everybody has one? Just have. Yes.
Okay.
Did you get one? You got that one, okay?
It's gonna be a little warm.
Oh, okay. We got. Over here.
Yeah, I know, I got it.
It's been a pleasure to eat this, because it crackles and pops.
Exactly.
We gotta get one.
There we go, okay? I got we ready. Thank you, Fox.
I will give to, yeah, I will give to them.
To who? Yeah.
All right, how was it, gang? So gang, just as we're wrapping up, honestly, thank you so much for taking your time out of your night and coming out to hang out with me. I had a lot of fun. So thank you all at home for hanging out tonight. Hopefully we get to do it again someday soon. Thank you very much, guys.
It's so hard. She's like, love it hard to.
Absolutely. The clouds will freeze for sure.
Really?
Totally. Yeah, they freeze nicely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been that.
Totally, for sure. Yeah.
Take pictures of Chef Trevor and